I recall Giacomo Zucco, who told me that cryptocurrencies and blockchains are just like the three little pigs and their story. Some pigs like to build their houses out of hay, and
Mm-hmm.
they just burn down when the big bad wolf comes.
Mm-hmm.
Others just use wood, and that's also easy to destroy. But those who really care about their security use bricks and stone and materials which last throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that to some people, it's much more fun to go to the short-term solution. I believe
Yes.
personally, this is not the opinion of my boss, I guess. A lot of people in Crypto Insider seem to be enthusiastic about Tron and about
Mm-hmm.
Tezos and about Cardano. But I think these are just short-term solutions. They just bring a solution which appeals to a need which exists now. But
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have the patience, I guess, to build it on top of an immutable blockchain.
Yeah, I think that it's at the social layer, people you mentioned before, good people, bad people, or some people are born good, and those philosophies. No, I think that we are governed by our biology, and in general, if you observe biology and human nature, we sometimes lie, we sometimes are good, we are honest. We are a machine. We're a Turing complete machine, and we are mostly honest and cooperative. Um, but sometimes we also cheat, and these systems. That means that we need to have the freedom to defend our individuality, um, all the time. No, we don't need somebody else to tell us how our life have to be run, because that somebody else is very likely that is really acting in their behalf, not in our behalf. So it's okay to want to be the pig that likes to build the hay house, and others to be the pig who like to build a brick house, strong and always be concerned with security. And it's also okay to apply those philosophies or lifestyles where they fit well. In the case of blockchains like Ethereum Classic and Bitcoin, they are specifically systems of very high security. Therefore, the only philosophy that fits is the philosophy of the bricks and high security. And it's perfect that other people want to build a hay house, but they can build their other systems on top or somewhere else. But these systems specifically have to be highly secure.
I have two more questions, and I see that we also have one from Twitter. And I'm not sure if I should read it because it's about price prediction.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about the involvement of Barry Silbert and his company. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people observed that he was very much involved when Ethereum Classic was about to get listed on Coinbase, and he was very vocal and promoting the coin, and then he just vanished.
Barry Silbert's participation on Ethereum Classic and Bitcoin and all his investments, etc., are exactly what you see. He's a very honest person, and he's an incredible advocate for these technologies. And I think that he has been. I think I sent him an email once because he's very criticized by people, and I sent him an email telling him that he's a net positive. um, when I tell someone that, or myself, that I'm a net positive or a net negative, is when of everything you do, some things are not very good, but mostly good. And I think that that describes Barry. All his investment, the risk he's taking, he has skin in the game. Really, he puts all his capital on crypto. He has make incredible connections between Wall Street and crypto and things like that. I think he already acknowledges that he wanted to help Bitcoin when he created the New York, or when he helped organize the New York agreement. He wanted to put everybody together and to come to an agreement because he really wanted to implement some solution to scalability. So it was a good intention. But as we see, it wasn't a very good idea for a blockchain. In the case of Ethereum Classic, he has been very vocal since the beginning. First, he actually, him and me, we used to like debate and quarrel on Twitter or discuss. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm a Spanish speaker, but we
No,
used to
I
discuss.
noticed.
We used to discuss on Twitter because he was always asking, I would say rhetorically, and what is the investment thesis for Ethereum? Like, he was really saying that he didn't agree with Ethereum, and I was always trying to tell him, when Ethereum is gas and Bitcoin is gold. Ethereum is Turing complete. Bitcoin is only for money transfers. Ethereum is like a full service computer. Bitcoin is like a pocket calculator, all those things. And he was always like not agreeing. And when Ethereum Classic came, he liked the philosophy of immutability of the smaller chain. And I think that he also liked the fact that it was a low value as a good investment. And I think that he also really agrees with the concept of Turing completeness on a blockchain. So he was very supportive and the most visible person there. And he created the ETC, the Ethereum Classic ETF. So again, a connection between Wall Street and Ethereum Classic. But he's not the only person with a lot of money within the system. There's other, for example, ETC Labs is a separate investment group, and they are in San Francisco, and they are funding startups. They have a pilot program with 6 Ethereum Classic startups, and in 2019 they are aiming to fund between 20 and 24. ETC Dev, in a few days, we're going to announce a grant from another person. So there's many other people with money supporting many other projects. So even though he was the main, most big whale in the system originally, now Ethereum Classic is much more diversified. And Barry has a net positive influence in the whole system.
And now that we're talking about money, I saw a tweet by you in which you dismissed the donation from the Ethereum Foundation to Ethereum Classic.
Yeah. You want to know why?
Yeah. Or maybe explain, maybe people who listen to this will not know what it's about, so you can give a backstory.
My personal opinion is that we are still, I mean, there's 2,000 blockchains if you go to CoinMarketCap. And on top of that, there's many thousands of dApps and other stuff happening on the blockchain. But at the base layer, there's a lot of competition. And I think that in the future, there's going to be only very few base layer blockchains. Say it could be between 4 and 5. Some people were saying 10, but it doesn't matter. 10 is still a small amount. That means that many of the blockchains that you see today in the future are going to cease to exist or become insignificant. And 4 or 5 or 10 are going to be the chosen ones by the world. That means that we are today, like any system that needs network effects and standards, we are in a standards war. It has happened in the past with many other technologies, and whoever are the advocates for each standard basically are competing for their standard to be the one that wins. So in this scenario, in terms of Turing completeness, I don't think that there are going to be 1,000. There's going to be maybe 2 or 3 Turing complete blockchains. And that means that other Turing complete blockchains are really competitors. So when you have the action of the advocate of one, especially when they are 30 times bigger and they have billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars to support their project, coming and making a press release and donating you a insignificant amount, not only for them, but also for the receiver, it's really a marketing ploy. I see it as a marketing ploy to virtue signal and to show to the world that they are the dominant standard. And the world, because of the coordination problem, needs a dominant standard. That's why these standard wars exist, no? And because people and organizations need to choose a platform and a standard to communicate and to do their business. So that's why is that I thought it was a bad decision from the Ethereum Classic side, which is not Ethereum Classic, it's just the ETC cooperative. Now it's another, like a non-profit, but the signal to the market is that of confusion, and I think that opposite to the message that we're trying to convey.
Okay, so right now it's fair that I should ask the question of Aldo Romeo Grimaldi on Twitter, and he just said price prediction and like 5 exclamation points.
Yeah, there's a. I think that that speculators and traders are very good for any ecosystem in the stock market, in the bond market, in the currency market, and also in the crypto market. So it's very. I would say it has to be respected that many people are interested in the short-term price. Also, long-term investors are key, because those are the ones that fund the core projects and put the big money. However, ETC Dev and Ethereum Classic, we try to be low profile in terms of talking about price, because we don't want to call all these people doing ICOs and speculating and bringing all this activity that in its majority is very likely that are scams. So we want to focus on the technologies and to keep building. Doesn't matter what happens outside, we're going to keep building, and we are here. ETC Dev is here, and many other participants in the community, to support Ethereum Classic in the long term. That is a very important guarantee to developers. In terms of market, even though I don't do, according to what I just said, I'm not going to do price predictions, but I can say that I think that in the market, Ethereum Classic is uniquely positioned as the only Turing-complete proof of work, fixed monetary policy, non-on-chain voting blockchain. That means it's the most secure Turing-complete blockchain in the market today, in the whole ecosystem. Why? Because if you see Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, they're big, and they are positioned in the proof of work, but they're not Turing-complete. Mm-hmm. So they're highly secure and very good for what they do, but they're not Turing complete. And you go to the other side, the Turing complete ones, you have Ethereum, EOS, Tezos, Cardano, etc. They are Turing complete, but they're not proof of stake, so they're not highly secure. Ethereum Classic is specifically Turing complete and proof of work, which is highly secure. So I think that if we stick to our principles and our technology and keep building the best technology, in the long term is going to be reflected in the price.
Muchas gracias, señor.
Muchas gracias a vos.
Okay, so this was it.
Thanks to you.
I understand. Vos is also in French, and I speak a bit of French. But yeah, they don't Portuguese. Pronounce it like that. And vos, I think, is like the polite term.
Vos is the Argentinian and Portuguese way. In Spain is gracias a ti.
A ti. Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to get posted on Crypto Insider in a few days. And I hope you're happy with how it went.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much for the questions. Very good questions. And you gave me an opportunity to explain things that maybe people have questions on what I say on Twitter, and this was a good opportunity to clarify.
Okay, I'll talk to you on Twitter.
Thank you, Vlad.
Bye.
Bye-bye.